Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr. This is the On the Stacks podcast.
Oh yeah, whoa, look, they can never keep me down, I'm going, and if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up.
I was at one point 88 pounds. Everyone literally thought there was something wrong with me. And my parents were like, Mia, we're gonna take your gym membership. You need to stop. You can't keep exercising like this. Or they're like, you need to eat. I'm eating. And I just kept saying I am eating. I just remember my mom came in, I was just bawling in this dressing room. And I was like, I need to do something. I'm way too skinny. I can't even go shopping. None of my clothes fit.
Today, I'm chatting with Mia Falcone, owner of Meezurfit Personal Training. In this episode, we talk about bodybuilding, body image, and the value of failing forward. This episode is brought to you by Kavanaugh's Grill, one of my favorite places to eat and drink in any PA. They've got one of the best outdoor patios with 13 TVs and over 20 beers on tap. You can also dine inside at this cozy Irish-style pub where your beer never goes empty. Did I mention how delicious their food is? Their in-house smoked brisket, barbecue ribs, and wings are to die for. So grab your friends and have a drink on me at Kavanaugh's. Mention code STACKS for one free draft beer with purchase of any entree when you dine in. Located at 163 North Main Street in Mountaintop, Kavanaugh's is open at 4 p.m. during the week and 12 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday during football season. Dine in today at Mountaintop's only Irish-style pub. This episode is brought to you by Burn, the fitness company behind the Today Show approved Burn Board. If I'm being honest, working out can be a real chore, especially as a new dad in desperate need of sleep and cardio. Burn is founded by NEPA native Jimmy T. Martin, and his Burn Board offers a low-impact core and cardio experience unlike anything I've done before. They have hundreds of on-demand workouts that are great for beginners, seasoned athletes, and out-of-shape podcast hosts who love supporting small businesses. My wife and I use it pretty frequently throughout the week, and it's honestly a great way to burn a ton of calories without burning a ton of cash. Not to mention, it's a great tool for skiers, runners, wrestlers, and hockey players. Jimmy is offering all On the Stacks listeners 15% off when they use the code STACKS15. Visit theburn.com today to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15 at checkout. Again, that's theburn, THEBRRN.com to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15. It's time to get on board today with Burn.
Hey Northeast PA, Paul Perfect Storm here. Do you want your kitchen or bathroom to go from this to this? Well, Perfect Storm can do it.
Need a kitchen or bath remodel and don't know who the experts are? Perfect Storm Renovations. Expert designers and installers who can help you achieve the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Schedule your free in-home design today. Perfect Storm Renovations. High-end quality anyone can afford.
What's up, podcast? It's Bill Corcoran Jr., host of the On the Stacks podcast here in the Blue Door studio, protected by our friends at Ritchie Security Solutions. Mia Falcone, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm pumped. No pun intended. It's a really bad joke.
With our 5-pound weights.
Yeah. It really wore me out there. Really wore me out on the stacks. No, I'm excited to have you here. You remind me of my sister. I didn't tell you this before we started, but my sister is very fit, just like you, and she's done some bodybuilding competitions. She's competed multiple times, so I know the world you're in. And
what's your sister's name?
Her name's Kristen.
Okay.
She's not she obviously is from here, but she lives down in Lehigh Valley area.
Okay.
So she competed where did you compete?
I competed in Valley Forge and at the Woodlands, actually. It was the other one. Yeah. So
Valley Forge, where's that? Is that down
it's near King of Prussia.
Oh, okay. She might have competed at that one.
That's a big if she competed in the NPC,
she did.
Yeah, that's a show that a lot of people from Pennsylvania in general go to. Okay. So honestly, she probably could have been there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. So she's she doesn't really, she's not she doesn't compete actively anymore, but she's still trains and she's living the life.
Oh.
But I get the I understand the the passion and the hard work it's a crazy amount of work.
It is. I mean, I'm definitely not in the competition mindset whatsoever anymore. It's a totally different ballgame.
It is, isn't it?
But it was cool. It was an experience. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, what's that like?
So,
Gotta put all the bronzer on, right? Like,
oh, the tan is literally. I wish I had Lindsay Timmick back then.
Right?
Okay, because this was 2016 I competed, and then 2017 and then 2019 I competed. So the first time I did a smaller show, like how I just said the one in Philly, like a lot of people from Pennsylvania go to. The first one I did in 2017 was just like more of a local one. Like some people from out of the area came, but it was just at the Woodlands. So I was coached by one of the trainers at my gym in Old Forge. I used to go to Anytime Fitness. It's now gone. It's not there anymore. But one of the trainers there coached me. I don't know if we're going to get into this in a little bit, but it was kind of, honestly, competing was what got me out of my like disordered eating / over exercising, which is funny because competing usually creates eating disorders in a lot of people and like exercise obsessions. So it's funny. My story is kind of the opposite.
it's like you were like, you had like, you worked out like too much. Like this is what kind of got you into it?
No. Well, so do you want me to take it back to that first?
Take it back. Let's back it up.
Okay. All right. So we'll go back to the competing, but basically my story is like, if anyone's followed me on social media for a while, they may have seen, and I do have this post pinned to the top of my Instagram. I was at one point 88 pounds. That was the lowest I remember getting to when I would even get on the scale. I was a sophomore in college. I started working out after freshman year, typical, gained the freshman 15. So that was kind of like, there was nothing crazy that like provoked this. It was just like, I gained the freshman 15 and I was like, all right, let's start working out. So me and my roommates, we would go to the gym together. And then I started losing weight. I started watching what I was eating, and it wasn't anything crazy. It was like, oh, maybe I tried to do like sweet potato fries instead of having like French fries, or like little swaps, like nothing crazy, honestly, but I was just watching. Like, whereas before I was having ramen noodles every night and like quesadillas for lunch every day with extra sour cream. Like, it was just like, I literally didn't care what I ate. And now I was
ramen noodles are good though.
They're amazing.
Right?
Oh my God.
Aren't they?
Well, I hadn't had them since like, I used to eat them. It was literally every single night.
It's like the worst, best food.
Oh, I know. And then I got them like last year. I was at the grocery store. I was like, oh my God, I really want these. And I had them. I was like, they're so good. Like, this is why I used to eat them every day.
Right?
Oh, and another thing, this was also like my freshman year. I used to eat like, you know, like the tubs of Pillsbury icing.
Yeah.
My nighttime snack would be like, I would dip pretzels in it. Like, if people hear this now, they're like, who is this girl?
Yeah, there's no way she did that.
Because, I was never fat. Like, I was never like obese, like nothing like that. Like, I never would consider myself like, you know, overweight. But for me, like, I was like, none of my clothes were fitting right, like that kind of thing. So that's how I got into working out.
Like, were you an athlete prior to this?
I was a cheerleader and a dancer all of high school. So like, I had some type of practice. I was always moving. Like, I was constantly doing stuff. I actually did end up cheering in college, but that was sophomore year. So I did not do that freshman year. So freshman year was like a free-for-all. I commuted also. So I was just kind of like all over the place. Like, it was just like weird for me.
You weren't living your best life.
No. So sophomore year, I started really like hammering down on working out, and I started seeing myself start to lose weight. I remember that's when I started cheerleading, and I could remember that my uniform started to get big, and I kept having to size down. Like, I kept having to go to the coach and be like, could I get a smaller uniform? And it was weird because like it would be like every like couple, however long, like maybe months. I don't even remember at this point. But I could remember I started off like just eating healthy. Like I said, like making little swaps. And then I remember it got to the point where I'd be like, okay, like I'm going to not eat a real lunch, but I would get Quest bars. And that was my lunch. I was like, okay, like these are like really healthy, which like, no, they're not. They're probably filled with so many disgusting things, but
you just didn't know.
Like fake things. Yeah. And I would like flatten them out to like make them last longer. This is so like, I hate talking about it. It's so weird, but I mean, I'm sure there's other people that do stuff like this. I remember I would eat like tons of gum to try to like not make me hungry.
It's like you weren't eating a lot.
It was just everything was like low calorie. Like my breakfasts would be like Greek yogurt, some fruit, or like I'd have maybe like egg whites with fruit. Like I was eating, and like I was eating each meal, but they were like very, very low calorie things. I remember sometimes for a snack, I'd heat up like chicken broth and I'd throw like vegetables in. Like that's like, what is that? Like I have no idea. And I'm like now, like I'm a personal trainer, like I'm telling people like how they should be eating, and I'm like, I can't even, like, who is that person? Like it's crazy. And then I would have my days where like it would be like my cheat day, and I'd eat whatever, and I'd be like sick to my stomach because like I was like, oh my God, like for one, this is all like so many more calories than I'm used to, but also like my body doesn't
like
even
the
know how to
ramen
handle-
noodle stuff. Like
I don't think I'd have like that. It would be kind of, well, and keep in mind, so I'm in college, and at this point, then I had moved to live down there. I was dorming. And I'm like binge drinking every weekend like any other college kid, but I'm still like during the week, I'm like super health freak, not eating. So I was like, how did I even like, how?
Isn't it crazy, by the way, like
Yeah.
that? Isn't it crazy, like, you know, how we all survived like college?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, you know, you just said like, you know, drinking, binge drinking,
Yeah.
like, you know, like I just, you know, I think back a lot to like, you know, my time in college and like, man, like the things we did and like
Yeah.
how much we drank and unhealthy food.
It's
It was
so
like
crazy,
Like
yeah.
how did we even get by?
I don't even know.
Right?
Yeah. I could remember like vividly like pictures of me with the big pounder of the Strawberita. Like, do you remember those things?
Yeah, of course.
yeah. Those were like my thing at that point.
It's hilarious.
Strawberitas. So yeah, it was like slowly I was just going down a slippery slope. I could remember like I would work out with, I had 4 other roommates. I would work out with them, like whoever I went with that day. And we would do whatever we did in the morning. I was studying to become personal trainer at this time. So I would be taking them through workouts and whatever. And I could remember going back to the gym like later that night, and I would just like get on a cardio machine for like an hour. And like sometimes I wouldn't tell my roommates because like I didn't want them to know I went back. I would try to go at like inconspicuous
So you're doing
times.
like 2-a-days.
Yeah.
Secret 2-a-days.
So yeah, like I feel, because sometimes like I would just be like, oh, they're gonna like, I don't know if I thought like they were gonna say something to me. So like I think in the back of my mind I knew it was too much.
Like you were doing too much.
Yeah, but I think I was just like, no, but I'm loving that I'm like seeing results, and so I was just like, you know, like I'm just gonna do it, and yeah, so it was just an ongoing thing, like little by little it kind of got like worse and worse. And so I was at college, I was living there, but then when I would come home, like I would go to my hometown gym, the one that I said Anytime Fitness Old Forge. And a lot of people that saw me when I had come back, my dad went there too, and like people were saying to him like, is Mia okay? Like, is she sick? Because I had gotten so skinny since like, so however many months I was at school, and then I came back home, and everyone like literally thought there was something wrong with me. And my parents were like, Mia, like we're going to take your gym membership. Like you need to stop. Like you can't keep exercising like this. Or they're like, you need to like eat. I'm like, I'm eating like, and I just kept thinking like, I am eating. But like, I should have known, like, I'm not eating correctly. Like, yes, just because food's going into my body, it's probably 500 calories a day. Like, it was bad. So it was kind of like that was like, that started me like, okay, like
this was 88 pound Mia, right? This
Yeah.
is like the
Yeah.
lowest weight you got down to.
Yeah. And did you see that picture?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, we'll have to throw that up on the screen.
Yeah.
You know, while we're talking here, so people can see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like skinny.
Yes.
Yes.
So that kind of like started me, like the wheels started turning, like, okay, like something's going on. But I was like, no, like I'm doing healthy things. Like I'm eating healthy. I'm working out. I was like in denial. So
It's like you knew like you were kind of sort of doing something that you
Yeah.
really shouldn't have been, like, but like you loved the results of the weight loss.
Yes. Because
Right?
like I saw like, it was like, I can control this. I can do, you know, like get the results that I want by like altering what I eat and working out. And it was like the first time that I had seen the results. And I think like in my head, I didn't realize how tiny I had gotten and how bad it would have been from just in general.
And
So-
did you have like a goal to like was it, I think, you said you gained the freshman 15, right? Like was it actually 15 pounds? And did you like say like, hey, I'm gonna lose 15 pounds. Like that's my goal.
So I don't even know. I never, like in high school, like before college or even freshman year, like I never was like, what's the word I'm looking for? self-conscious, like
Okay.
about my weight.
Yeah,
I never thought I was heavy. Like, I mean, I was never heavy. I shouldn't even say that. But like,
Yeah, but for you, for your body type,
Yeah.
your size.
So I really didn't consistently weigh myself, but I would say like when I would go to the doctor or whatever, like my like average weight would be like 110 pounds. Now I'm only like 5 foot on a good day. So like that's like an average weight for my height.
Yeah.
So I know freshman year I got up to, the heaviest I saw was 122. And now like people are probably going to listen and be like, oh, boo-hoo. Like,
Yeah,
she's
like,
so
come on,
small.
you weren't fat. And
Yeah,
it's like,
no.
but for you that was,
Yes.
you percentage wise, you gained a lot of weight.
Yes.
For your body.
So I just remember like none of my clothes fit me. Like it was just one of those things. So, but then I took it too far. So basically I started at 122 and I got down to 88. So I basically lost like 30 to 34 pounds, like crazy. So finally, like I don't remember how long after that, like I said, I went home, people were asking if I was sick, that whole thing. I remember the turning point was basically I went to King of Prussia Mall with my mom and one of my friends and her mom, and we were shopping, and I was in the dressing room, and I put on the smallest pair of jean shorts they had at like, I think it was like American Apparel, I don't even know, and they fell right down, and I just called my mom, because like I don't know where my mom even was. But I remember like I like called her. I was like, do they have any smaller sizes? Like, could you bring me a pair?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, no, like that's the smallest size the store has. And I just remember like my mom came in. I was just like bawling in this dressing room. And I was like, I need to do something. Like I'm way too skinny. Like I can't even go shopping. Like none of my clothes fit. And I still remember like this was a little bit after the fact. But like my now husband, when I was going to East Stroudsburg with friends, and I knew it was going to be the first time I would ever meet him, but like we had talked on social media and whatever. And I remember like trying to find something to wear, and I couldn't even wear jeans because they all looked like they were like jeggings, like the legging jeans, but they were all baggy on me. Like those aren't supposed to be baggy. They're supposed to be like legging.
Tight.
Yeah. And I still remember it was like this outdoor like day drinking party, and I had to go in like a dress because like everything else was big on me, and I was like so embarrassed. I'm like, I'm going to meet this guy, and like I can't even wear jeans. Like I'm wearing, like that's so stupid, but like I could remember like moments like that.
Right.
Where like, and that was even after I had gained a little weight back. But yeah, that dressing room moment was kind of like, okay, I need to do something. And then I actually did decide to compete. So that was like what came next after that.
Okay. Yes, this all right. You decide like, hey, this became too much of a. It became an unhealthy obsession. I talk about obsession a lot. Clearly, you can see it. You're looking at my, I can see my hoodie, right?
Yeah.
And there's I think healthy and unhealthy obsessions, right? And
Yeah.
for you, it became unhealthy, literally,
Yeah.
like bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the gym that I went to, like I said, one of the trainers there was my coach for my first competition. And that was circling back how some of the people from the gym had said to my dad, like, is she okay? Like, whatever. The trainers, Tammy and Mike were their names. They just knew me from going there. It was a small gym, and they were like, Mia, like, what do you do? Like, what's like, is everything okay? Like, they were even asking me. And I was like, I know, like I need to, like I started talking to them about it, and I was kind of like, I need to do something, but like I need someone else to tell me what to do, because like if I just tell myself, oh, eat more, like exercise less, like I'm like, I need someone to like put me on a program and be like, eat XYZ, and like to make sure like I'm getting enough food, to make sure I'm getting enough calories, to make sure I'm not overdoing with the exercise. So,
but were you like diagnosed with anything? Did you go to the doctor? Like there was no like
so my
formal...
dad is a family doctor, so he wasn't like, you have this eating disorder and whatever. But basically it was over exercising, under eating. People call it orthorexia. I was never formally diagnosed, so I don't want to like give people the wrong idea. I was not, but I was over exercising and under eating for me, basically. So Tammy, the trainer at the gym, I said, like, what if I compete? I was like, that'll put me on like a regiment. Like I have to do this workout. I have to eat this meal because this is the end goal. And at first, like everybody was like skeptical, because they were like, well, the like competitions like make people disordered. They like do this with, and I'm like, okay. And I asked her like, okay, well, what would I be eating? Like what does it look like? And she like laid it out for me. Like it was like 4 full meals a day. Like, like it was basically like you had oatmeal with fruit and protein in the morning. And then you had like chicken, rice, broccoli, maybe, and then like
the classics.
Yeah,
I know. Because like I said, with my sister, I know I know the classic meals. Yeah.
And then like sweet potato.
She's gonna be watching this too because she's gonna relate so much to this episode.
Yeah.
You know, because her being in the bodybuilding world and fitness, etc.
Absolutely.
And she's gonna laugh right now because I bust her ass
know.
sometimes about the food.
Yeah, then it's like sweet potato,
rice,
whatever vegetable with
yeah.
that, probably asparagus, and then like a fish. But I'm like, this is way more than I'm eating right now, because then on top of that, I'd have like maybe a protein shake or like yogurt, nuts at some point throughout the day. So I was like, that's way more than I'm eating right now. But if you tell me like these are the foods you should eat and like you're gonna look how you want, you're gonna be healthy, you're gonna feel healthy, like, you know, and it seemed very weird because usually people go into a competition like they have to lose weight. And now my second time competing was a totally different story. But this, I was like, okay, we're gonna do it. So I did it, and then I trained with her, or I started eating like that meal plan type thing. I would train with her 3 days a week. I didn't have to do a whole lot of cardio, and I ended up placing first at that competition. Like, it was great. So after that, then like I kind of stuck to like eating like that, but having like adding more things in. And then I wasn't skipping meals anymore. So that was like a big thing, because like I skipped lunch so much. And like,
yeah, I think that's where people get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I guess even me, that over the years, and now after like seeing my sister and everything she's done competing wise and et cetera, and eating the right way, like people, like you said, people just like think they're doing the right thing by like just skipping the meal or not eating as much, but like it's really not even about that. Like it's just actually getting the right amount of like protein, etc. I don't want to say the wrong thing because I don't really know it all, but there's a science.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a science to it, and it's not just like, oh, just eat this and that. Like there is more of a science to it, right?
Absolutely. And like even so, it's like you should have a certain number of protein, carbs, and fats every day, and that was kind of what she gave me. So I didn't have to eat those exact meals. Like as long as I hit my macros, I was good. But even now, like it makes me so mad. Like I literally get mad when someone's like, oh my God, all I ate today is like a cracker and like a cheese stick.
Yeah, a little bit of water.
And I'm like, are you okay? And then I'm like, but that used to be me. So like maybe that's why I'm so triggered. But like, but it's so bad. And like, so basically after that whole thing, I started to like, then I was like on the upward and things were good. But what was I going to say?
So you're competing. So you won that first competition.
Yes.
Right. So
yes.
So what was after that?
Okay. So I won the competition, and then I was like, okay, so now like I'm actually eating normal. Like, let me just do normal life for a little bit. 'Cause like you couldn't, like I had one cheat day a week.
Very strict.
Yeah.
Very strict.
I did get one cheat day every week for the competition. And I remember back then I actually vlogged. I was a little YouTuber back then. So I would do like 13 weeks out, 12 weeks out. And I would like show the cheat day and everything every week. And I would show all the posing practice and all that. So it was funny because like every week, like me and Sammy, my husband, would like find somewhere to go and just like get a bunch of like random food that I wasn't able to have during the week and stuff. But then like, so it was fun to like be in like basically an off season, like, and just kind of do whatever. But I still like, I worked out, I still like ate healthy for the most part, but I wasn't like, if something came up on a random Tuesday, like it was okay. But it was still like the mindset part of that was still tough, because I was still in that mindset, like, no, like Monday through Friday, like, you only get like one cheat day. And for a while I did struggle with like, being able to like do random things and not be like, oh my God, I'm off my plan.
Like you felt like guilty, like if you strayed.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And like now I mean, like there's always like moments when I'm like, oh my God, I just had like 4 days in a row of eating garbage.
Too much.
Yeah. But like now I'm not like, oh my God, I can't go there. I can't
have
do
just
this.
like, oh yeah, it's like, oh my God. It's like you stressed over doing that one thing. You're like, oh my God, I'm that's so bad, right? Like, yeah. So you got over that little hurdle. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like a lot of people probably struggle with that too. Once they get into
it's
hard.
Like
the lifestyle.
It's really hard. And I even said like, I don't think I'll ever compete again, but if I do, it would be like after I have kids, because it could like mess with your hormones and like all of that. So it's just like it's a tricky thing. Because my second time competing, I competed in 2017, and then I decided to again in 2019, and I couldn't lose weight for the life of me. Like I ended up doing like, they had me doing like an hour or more of cardio every day, like, and like I just wouldn't shed like it was just very strange. I don't know, like my body was like fighting me because it was like, I think it was kind of one of those things like you finally got to like a happy place, like now you're gonna go backwards, because like I wasn't at a point where like I was too heavy, but like I still needed, when I did compete that time, I came in 9th out of like 31 girls, I think, so it wasn't terrible. But I was like, oh, I got first place last time. Yeah, so, of course, like, your ego's a little deflated there. But the comments from the judges were like, come in leaner next time. And I was like, oh, like, I can't do this. That's bad for, like, everything, like, in my past. Like, for me, like, I don't want it. Like,
yeah, you don't want to get that lean again.
Yeah. And, like, I'm just like, I don't, like, what do I care what these old men that are judges say? Like, it's so subjective. Like, why would I put myself through it again? Like, you go through all that training and all those weeks, and then it's kind of like, well, it just depends who else shows up that day. Like, and that time, circling back to the tan thing.
And you were still in college during all this, right?
2019, I was in physical therapy school.
Okay.
So, and I was in physical therapy school for both of them.
Okay.
So it was
cut you off with the tan story. I got to hear the tan story.
Well, we'll get to that. But yeah. So 2017, I was my first year of PT school, and then 2019, it was my last year of PT school. So yeah, I was living in Philly for both of those. But the tan, for the second competition, like it is a tan, like unlike any other. It's like super, super dark. Like you look like not a real person.
Yeah. Like not normal.
Yeah, like it's just, I don't know. You want it to come off right after. You aren't like, oh my God, I'm so tan. Like you look dirty almost, like because it's like a weird
just like kind
color.
of rolled in mud, sort of.
Yes, it looks like mud.
Yeah.
So I got the tan, and then I fell asleep with my hand on my, I forget it was my leg. My hand on my leg. So I woke up with this huge handprint, and I was like, oh my God, like what am I gonna do? So like it's gonna like ruin everything. So I was so stressed that morning then. And like we somehow like rubbed it out, but it still looked like.
Oh, this was like the day of.
The day
right?
of.
Okay.
So then I think that made me
so
like.
Yeah, like the handprint going into the show.
Oh yeah, and then I was like,
it's a good look.
Yeah,
it's a good look.
So then I was like stressed. I'm like puffy. I'm like, I don't know. So that was not my day.
Yeah,
but it was fine.
Yeah. So who applies this tan? Like, what is this?
So for that competition, there was a tanning like
a service.
It was like a place in the mall, in King of Prussia Mall. And they did tanning and teeth whitening. So it was just like a bunch, probably like similar to Lindsay's salon, but like in a mall. So it was just something like that. You go and it's just like a girl that did it. The first competition, it was like this older guy that like you go, so it was at the Woodlands, and it was in like one of the hotel rooms. And you had a time slot, whatever, like you go, and I walk in and I'm like, oh my God, it's like this old man. Like, I mean, he was like 50 some maybe, but I'm like,
still kind of awkward.
Like, it's so weird. So you're just going in there.
You're in a hotel room.
You're in a hotel room naked in this tent getting tanned by this old man. And I was just like, okay, let's just get this over with.
Yeah.
Like, it was so strange. The second time was like normal because it was like a girl my age. Like, it was fine.
A little more comfortable.
Yeah, like it was fine.
Not in a hotel room.
Not in the Woodlands hotel room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was it for your retirement.
Yeah, so that was why I needed Lindsay at those times. But,
yeah. Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, so like, I mean, just talk about the discipline throughout all of that. I mean, that's like, especially, when you started it, right? When you got into like, starting to train for the bodybuilding, like you were, say, at like your lowest or worst point in terms of physical health, right? Like, but just how are you able to have the discipline then to build yourself back up and compete and maintain the discipline all throughout? Like, that's tough.
For me, it was kind of like that part of it was easy, to be honest.
Really?
Like, I'm a very OCD, like schedule. Like, I love a schedule. I love an hour by hour. You have to do this, this, and this. The hardest part was kind of like the weekends and having to like say no to like things with friends or like things with my now husband, like it was my boyfriend at the time, like because he'd be coming to visit me from East Stroudsburg. So it was kind of like I did get one day to like do whatever, but like that was the hardest part for me. Like during the week I was just like, okay, like I have school anyway, so it's like this hour I work out, then I go to school, do whatever I have to do for school. I have to practice posing from this time to this time, and the posing wasn't even every day. I didn't have a ton of cardio that I had to do then. My meals, I meal prepped on Sunday. They were ready to go. They're in the fridge for the whole week. My roommate, she meal prepped too. So like we were on the same page. Like she wasn't competing or anything, but like she was super supportive, and she like actually like worked out with me a lot of the time. So I had a lot of supportive people, I would say, in my life. So it was kind of like not easy. It was definitely not easy.
No, give yourself the credit.
Yeah.
Seriously, give yourself the credit. 'Cause
Like-
there is a serious amount of work and discipline
Yeah.
that goes into it. Like,
Yeah.
most people can't do that.
Yeah, it was a lot of like early mornings, and that kind of got me into waking up super early. Like I that was when I first started. Like I'd get up at like 5:30 and like do everything because I was like, okay, well I have to be done by this time before class, and it was like I was that person like with the big lunchbox bringing all the meals to school and like whatever. But like I liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was something cool. It was kind of like I grew a lot on social media at the time because I made a lot of friends that were also competing just from like different areas, like whether that was like in Philly or like I don't know. I met a lot of people through it, so that was really cool. Yeah,
it's a community.
And in Philly, there was a store called Philly Gains, and now they actually recently opened up a big gym. It's called Alpha Flight, but I hope I'm saying that right, but they were awesome. The owner, John was his name. Is his name. He still owns it. He like told me basically like all of the supplements to buy, like helped me all the time. They were one of my like sponsors for the show. So I met a ton of people through the supplement store. Like there was a really big fitness community like there, and then the LA Fitness that I would work out at, and then there was like a GNC in the same plaza, and through it like I met one of my now best friends, Bree Henry, owner of Wayland Apparel. I don't know if you saw that.
I know the name. Yeah.
So she like it's just like it was a really good. I'm really glad I did it. I made a lot of cool connections through it. So
very cool. So
yeah.
because you were doing all this while in school for physical therapy.
Yes.
Like, did you ever anticipate you getting into fitness like you are now, like with your personal training business? Like, did you anticipate this happening?
At the time, no. If you asked me in high school, like, are you going to own a gym? I would have laughed in your face. Like, I was a cheerleader, a dancer. Like, yeah, you have to be like somewhat athletic, but I did not play sports. I always joke like that I was the free throw champion in like this like 6th grade basketball camp I went to, because that's like the most athletic thing I ever did in my life. I have this little trophy.
You won?
Oh yeah. I was the free throw champ.
Love it.
So that's like I'm not an athletic person. So like I would have laughed if you told me that in high school. But I mean, like now, and after I got into it, I was like, I will open a gym one day. And now, like, I may have not known it would just be like a smaller personal training studio. I maybe thought it would have been like a big box gym kind of thing. Like that was like the vision. But now I'm like, I don't think I want that. Like I like what I've built, because a lot of people like that they come in and there's not a million people watching them. And it's just like they have their appointment. It's their time slot. That's their hour. No one else is in there. They get to use all the equipment, do whatever they want, and it's like they don't feel like they're being judged or like looked at. And that's the one main thing that I like, and that I really try to encourage people about if they're hesitant about coming to my gym, is like a lot of people are intimidated of the gym, but it's like when you come there, like you don't have to worry about there being random people in there and looking at you.
Yeah, and being judged.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People throwing weights around.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, so take me back to PT school.
Okay.
Right? Fast forward, right before you decided to do the gym thing. Mm-hmm. I know a little bit of the story, but I want you to kind of take me through and tell me the story of like how that kind of all played out for you.
Okay, PT school was not easy for me at all. It was a big struggle. Like high school, college, school was easy. Like I was dean's list all throughout college. Like I didn't have a hard time. PT school, I struggled so hard. I was like skating by the skin of my teeth, not because I wasn't like applying myself, or like it was very hard. Like it stuck.
Was this like your childhood goal? Like,
no.
Did you think like...
I thought I was going to be a doctor. I was going to take my MCATs, which is like the test to get into medical school. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do 4 years of med school and then residency. And then like, I just didn't think I was like, I don't know. And then I was very into fitness at the time. So I was like, ooh, physical therapy. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Like, then that's still 3 years. So I'm like, what was the difference at that point?
Yeah,
but I mean, everything happens for a reason. So that's where PT school came from. And honestly, like I should have looked into it way more, but I really didn't. Because now it's crazy because I can't even see myself doing it now.
Yeah, it's crazy how things work out, right?
It is. So, and I think that's also like looking back why I said like it was very, very hard for me. I think because like it wasn't a passion of mine deep down. Like a lot of people like in my class, like you can tell they were like so passionate about it. And that's great. But like it wasn't me. Like I was like let me go home to work on my clients and because I still had like online clients at the time. And I'd be like, always like so excited to go and do that. And I was just like, I loved doing that. Never felt like work. Like it was just fun. And at PT school, I was like, oh my God, this is such a struggle. So I graduated in 2019. I took my boards and I failed the first time.
On the Stacks will be back in a flash after a word from our sponsor.
A lot of times when people are in car accidents, kind of forget what we should do. First and foremost, call 911. Then, get out of your car before moving it and take pictures. It's so important to capture what the cars look like immediately following the accident. Finally, call your insurance carrier and make a claim.
To learn more, visit Anzalone Law offices online at anzalonelaw.com. On the Stacks will be back in a flash after a word from our sponsor. Welcome to the future. While you're hearing this ad in the present, the Center for Technology Innovation at Lackawanna College is preparing students for the jobs of tomorrow in the world of advanced technology. The Center for Technology Innovation will offer undergraduate degree programs, corporate training, as well as short-term stackable certificates in areas such as robotics, cybersecurity, electric vehicles, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence. Based at a 90,000 square foot facility in downtown Scranton, Pennsylvania, the Center for Technology Innovation is located 2 hours from the major cities of New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, and is just 15 minutes from a commercial airport in a region thriving with tourist attractions and a vibrant restaurant, educational, and cultural scene. Lackawanna College is a proven industry-leading innovator. But don't just take my word for it. Fast Company even recognized Lackawanna College's reputation for innovation by naming them to their top 10 list as one of the world's most innovative companies. For more information or to enroll, call 877-346-3552 or visit lackawanna.edu. And now, back to our chat on the Stacks.
Now, I will say a lot of people failed the first time, so it was kind of just like, okay, like a couple of my good friends from my class failed, and we were all like, all right, we're going to study together, we're going to pass this next time. Like, we all got in a big study group, took it again, failed it again. So I'm like, all right, great. So you get 6 attempts, and then you're done.
That's it.
Yes.
It's over.
Which is like absolutely ridiculous because like you pay all this money to go to school, and then it's like you can't even use your license. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So fail it the third time. Now there's me and one other girl from my class, and we're like, what are we going to do? Like, so me and her, we're FaceTiming every day. We're studying. We're quizzing each other. We're going back and forth. We're like, oh my God, like we need to pass. Take it again. She passes. I fail by 1 question. I'm like, oh my God.
So this is attempt 4.
This is attempt 4.
Okay.
So I got 3 more, and I'm like, to my parents, I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, I'm opening a gym. I don't care. So literally me and my mom went and looked. I still have video on my phone, and it's like, today I'm going to look at gym locations, because this is back when I like still thought I was going to be a YouTuber or something. And
Yeah.
I'm like, we're going to look at gym locations today. So, and I'm like showing like one of the things we looked at, and I found one. I was like, oh my God, like I love this. We're definitely going to do it, blah, blah, blah. So I'm holding out. I'm like, I don't know. Talking to my husband, seeing what we should do. We were like going back and forth on the idea of renting a spot in the warehouse where Anthracite Fitness Factory is. Shout out Jenna Strzelecki.
Yeah.
So we were going back and forth on it because like I didn't know how I wanted to do it. I kind of wanted to do like circuit training classes. So I didn't want to step on her toes with CrossFit, which obviously like I wouldn't have went in there doing that. So I was like, I have to see like what direction I want to take this. So there was a spot, it's called Gorilla Nutrition in Old Forge, and it was a supplement store. He had a little area inside that had tanning beds, but he also had a ton of gym equipment in there. It was a room, honestly, not that much bigger than this, like maybe like double this. But he told me that I could train people in there. He was like, yeah, bring your equipment. Like you could train people in here. I don't care. Like I won't even charge you rent. Like he's like, I would give him like a percentage of like what I made each month, but like it was like the best deal. I was like, okay. So I still remember like I bought all these dumbbells. I got all this stuff, and I started doing classes there. So that was when it started. That was 2019. So that was,
This is you like, you're already on going into like 5th attempt, right? At this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I waited. Like I held off because I was like, I need to like take a mental break. I was like, I'm too defeated right now. Like I just need to like see if I want to take them again or when I want to take them again. And like,
did you think maybe you were also kind of like partly maybe in denial that like you didn't want to do that, and that maybe your passion was really fitness, but maybe you just didn't want to like admit to like your family and friends like, hey,
because I was just like, I wasted so much money and time
because you were so deep into it.
Mm-hmm. And I was almost like, I wish I noticed this like year 1, not year 3, well, not year 3 after graduation. So there was one point, I think it was like the Christmas, it was right before Christmas break. I can't remember if it was my second year or my third year. I want to say it might have been my third year. I almost got like basically kicked out of PT school because I failed I got a C in one of the classes. And if you got more than 3 C's, you were done. And I already had 2. So this would have been the third.
So C's don't get degrees. It doesn't apply there?
No, it doesn't apply. You have to get B's. Yeah. So, it was rough. So I had gotten a C in that class, but there was so many people that had gotten a C in the class, and we all like kind of begged for like a retest on our final test. And we got it, and then I passed and whatever. But like if that didn't happen, like I would have been out. Like I wouldn't have even got the degree. And like I don't even know like what difference would that have made, like one less semester. So it doesn't even matter that much. Yeah. But going back, what was I saying before?
So you're now you're like on 5th attempt, like.
Yeah, so I was at that Gorilla. So Gorilla Nutrition was called. I got my Meezurfit sign. I like hung it in there. We put a mirror up. I had all my equipment. It was great. I had a lot of people coming. Well, it was only big enough for 10 people in a class, but I would be filled almost all my classes. Like we did a 6 a.m., we had a 4 and a 5 p.m. I think every day. So I loved it. It was so much fun. COVID comes. So I started this in November. It was like right before Thanksgiving of 2019. So then COVID comes in March. So I'm only there a couple months.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah. So now we're like, okay, 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, like we'll see what happens. Like I'm like, guys, we're just gonna close for these couple weeks. At this point, I'm
2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
We'll be back in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. So I'm all virtual now. So I'm doing like virtual classes. I still had my same girls that were coming down there. They were just coming virtual. It was fine. And then I'm like, okay, this is not gonna be 2 weeks. And then that's when we converted my parents' garage into a gym, and I was like, well, I'm going to get all my equipment then. So then I brought all the equipment home from there, and that's when I kind of like took all my stuff out of there, and then I was just doing like virtual training the whole time. So then that was all of 2020. 2021, I'm trying to think when I took the test again.
So you were in between deciding or just taking some time off.
Yeah. So
right?
I took the test again. I know I took it once in 2020. No, I took it twice in 2020. So then there's my 6. Okay, I'm done.
This is it.
Yeah. So then I write this big letter appealing, like it's a big thing. I had to go to this, it wasn't court. I don't even know what you'd consider it. I had to go before like this panel of people and tell them like why I should take the exam again. Basically, they were almost like making it as if the things they were asking me were almost like I wanted to fail. Like they were like, well, why did you do XYZ? What materials did you use to study? But like asking me probing questions like I cheated, and I'm like, but I failed. So like, what are these questions?
Yeah. And normally if you cheat, you win.
Yeah, like it was the weirdest thing. So they finally say I could take it again. Take it a 7th time. Well, we'll get to that because that didn't come yet. So they say I could take it again, and this was at the end of 21. At the end of 2020. I'm sorry. I'm like mixing up all my years here.
It's a lot of attempts and spread out over a long period of time. Like this.
So I was supposed to get married New Year's Eve of 2020, and then that got postponed to May of 21. So like all of these things were going on, and I was like, I just don't want to worry about the test. Like I want to plan my wedding. I want to like whatever. So I had a certain amount of time. So I was like, let me just push it off. It's fine. So I was like, we'll wait till after the wedding. So then I'm trying to think of this timeline. So I got done with Gorilla when COVID happened. Didn't take those tests. Oh, okay. So then at some point during all of this, it was in 2020, I get offered, it was the end of 2020. I get offered a job by one of my friends who was in sales, and he was like, you would really like this job. I think you'd be a great fit. Like it was medical device sales. It was in Stroudsburg. So I was like, I don't know. My husband was working in Stroudsburg. So I was like, okay, like maybe it'd be okay to start there. And I still didn't have the license. So I was like, I need to do something. Like I am not making enough money off of personal training because now I closed the studio, like whatever. So I was like, let's just see what happens. And I loved it. Like, it was just like, it was so much fun. Like, you're just driving around all day. You go see this person, that person. You do what you got to do. At one point I was like delivering oxygen tanks to like the hospitals and stuff just to like get in there. Cause a lot of places wouldn't let you in cause of COVID.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it was a
yeah,
weird
yeah.
time to
It's
start,
a weird time
to start being in sales. Yeah.
Yeah. Medical sales. Yeah.
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 So yeah, but I do remember, this is actually funny. When I was in one of my PT internships, I remember we were just like waiting for lunch or something, and this girl came in, and I think her name was Steph, and she comes in like with this cute outfit and like her purse, and she's bringing lunch, and she was like the salesperson for like the stim, you know, like the little muscle.
Yeah.
That,
Of course. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that girl looks like she has so much fun at her job. Like, I wish I could do that. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what I do now. But because it's just like, I just think back to that moment. And I was like, she looks like she has a great job. Like, she's just coming in offices, bringing us lunch, like all this stuff. So, but I mean, there's obviously more to it than that.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
you know, it's just funny. So I get into the sales job, and then they had a company merge. I get laid off, and I'm like, okay, what do I do now? So then I'm like, okay, Sammy, like, I need to do something. We need to make this fitness thing full time. Like, I gotta go for it because I have one more attempt on these boards. I don't know when I want to take them, but if that doesn't work out, like, I need to figure this fitness stuff out. So I was like, let's talk about, renting a space in the warehouse and seeing where that goes. The spaces that were left were not ideal because, like, my studio doesn't have any windows because it's, like, inside. But I was like, you know what? It could be a starting point. Whatever. So his family actually owns the warehouse. It used to be Falcone Beverage. So his dad, like, let us renovate whatever in that room that we wanted. So we worked on it all summer. We painted, we like did whatever, did the flooring, put a door in, like did all the things, got mirrors. And then we finally opened in October of 21. So it's a little over a year that we're open. And right after we opened, so I think it was like January, so I'm like a couple months in, not even, or maybe it was before Christmas. No, I'm sorry. Right before we opened, I get a phone call from, it was my old company that I worked for. They had like a new job opening, and it was in Scranton. It wasn't going to be in Stroudsburg anymore. And I was like, oh my God, like, I'm literally opening this gym. Like, what am I going to do? So I was like, all right, let's just take the interview. Let's see what happens. So I'm like, all right, looks like we're doing both. So
you took that job?
Yes. So that was in October. So it was like literally right when
you opened the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're doing both, and I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Like, at first I'm like juggling both. I'm like doing, basically for that job, I was doing like the bare minimum. I was going in like a few hours in the morning, doing like just like bare minimum. I have to do this, and this, and then I'm done. Okay. Like, I did what I needed to do, go to the gym, train like 4 clients. And I was burning out fast. And I was just like, okay, I think I need to hire people. So then that was when I hired 2 more trainers at that time. And then I ended up hiring 2 more eventually. But I didn't anticipate like having a whole team. So that's kind of like very long-winded, like how it came to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least like you said, like at least you realized and you didn't burn yourself out. Mm-hmm. Like, cause you said you were probably along those lines.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It was a lot. Yeah. And then, while I was working there, then I got someone told me about the job that I'm at now, and I was a little hesitant to, like, I was like, I don't know, like, I just got this other job, like, do I want to apply for another one? It was a really good opportunity though, and now like I do love my job, and I'm so happy I took it. But this job is a lot more demanding, and I actually like want to do more than the bare minimum. I want to do everything I can.
Yeah.
So I needed to delegate a lot more, and I'm only at the gym like 2 hours a week now. Like, I'm not fully hands-on. Like, I mean, I have a great team. Like, they're great. They take all the clients. Like, it's been really good, and I'm happy I have people I could trust that, you know. So it's going well, but it's been crazy, and I would not have imagined.
It's been a ride.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think just just this whole journey for you.
Yeah.
Of the up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like now you kind of sort of found.
Yeah.
Like your path, right?
Yeah.
And, just going back to, the discipline thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you've maintained this discipline with, a lot of these things. Just even if you failed, you just keep trying. And like you said, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And like, look, kind of where you ended up, obviously in a place you never expected.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
But in a better place.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't circle back to this. I forgot. My 7th attempt was, so I started this job that I'm at now last April. And I had just started, there's like an online training for 6 weeks. And during the training was my 7th attempt. It was like, if I didn't take it then, like, I can't. Like, it was
do or die.
Yeah. So I remember I'm in this training and I had to, the training was like certain days were self-guided. So I was like, oh my God, I have to get everything done for this Thursday day, the day before, because I have to go on Thursday to take this exam. And it was just crazy. So I went, I took the test and I still failed. And I was like, I really do think that it happened for a reason, because
Definitely.
I don't think I'd be happy in a PT office for however many hours a day, going home, doing paperwork. I love being on the road all day, talking to people in and out of offices. It's just, I really do enjoy what I do now. So I'm like, I can't even imagine. It's just weird. It's weird how things work out.
Yeah. And even though right, you failed, right, 7 times,
yeah.
I mean, but even though that happens, failure is your friend sometimes.
Yeah.
For real. I mean, you're a perfect example.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, but for real. Look how many times you failed, right?
Yeah.
Quote unquote failed on paper.
Yeah.
Right. And, I think most people, most people in life would probably be in a really rough place.
I mean, I definitely was. I cried my eyes
sure,
out. I was not well.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, you were still doing all the other things that you were doing. You had a business. That's a lot to juggle.
And I think how you said before, I think in the back of my mind, I didn't want it. I wanted to want it because I went to school and I did whatever. I went to therapy for test anxiety, and we're trying to get to the bottom. Why are you so anxious about this test? Why? And we never really uncovered. It was kind of just
I think subconsciously.
It's I don't want it. I didn't want it.
Right. And that's probably the reason.
Yeah. Cause
seriously.
Yeah.
I know
it's when you want something, you go for it. And even during taking the tests, I did all these study courses, and they'd have you there's a lot of mindset stuff, and you have to really visualize yourself passing and this and that.
Did you visualize yourself passing?
Yeah, I'm doing all the things. I'm I'm going on a vacation to celebrate and this and that, and I'm gonna do this and this. But then I'm I really I don't think I ever truly saw myself as a physical therapist. And I don't want to use excuses just because I failed, but I don't know. I just don't see it.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
No, I mean, to be able to admit that, I mean, looking back on it, you even knew it in the moment.
Yeah.
When it was happening, it's
yeah.
You were trying, you were still trying, but subconsciously, you weren't.
Exactly.
Because you knew I don't really want to do this. I want to do this other thing.
Yeah. And I feel it happens to a lot of people. They're in a job that they don't like, or they went to school for this, so they feel they have to use that and do this or that. But it's
and the pressure of society.
Exactly. And I'm I never thought I'd be in a sales job, but here I am, and I'm loving what I'm doing. You just never know what you're gonna fall into. And it's I don't know. I hopefully someone listening is I hate what I'm doing. What should I be doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's a big question, because I think, or just a hot topic, because I think there's so many people just doing things they just either get comfortable or they're making good money and comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Or just doing things they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Or if you're just in a shit job and not making good money and you hate it, I mean, that's obviously the worst,
Yeah,
right? But
absolutely.
There's people I feel that get in those positions, and then I hate complainers, by the way.
Same.
And there's people that that will get into those positions, and then all they want to do is complain about it.
They're not gonna do
and
anything.
It's well, then do something about it. Do something about your situation. Don't complain to me. Don't I don't I don't want to hear you complain.
Yes.
You have no reason to complain. If you're not doing something about your situation, don't complain.
I agree.
You know what I mean? But obviously, I know some people might be in a bad position. Maybe mentally. Whatever. But I think there's just stop complaining. Take the effort of your complaining and go do something else that's going to be more productive.
Exactly.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
Whatever it is. Pick up a hobby that, you know, maybe it's fitness, right?
Yeah.
You pick up maybe then that person will find their passion in fitness and maybe start a gym.
Well, like I said,
You know what I
I never thought I would have been doing this.
Exactly.
Like if you asked me before I went to college, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
And
you
I
just
mean,
don't know what you're going to fall into.
You don't. And I mean, like, look at you. I mean, like you literally, like you were 88 pounds and not in good health.
Yeah.
And I mean, look how far you've come.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
yeah. But going back to the complaining thing, like, man, yeah, I just think there's just so much opportunity.
There is.
Like out there, especially
you can literally
with
make
the
money
internet,
doing anything now.
Oh my God, I say the same thing all the time.
It's crazy.
Literally anything. Like just go online and people, it's ridiculous what people would pay you to do.
Oh yeah.
Like ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know?
I joke
mean,
with my mom all the time. I'm like, Mom, let's put your feet on OnlyFans.
There you go.
Well, like, so we'll always be like, ooh, what can we do for extra money? I'm like, Mom, let's do it. You have nice feet. I'm like, mine, not so much. And my dad's like, go ahead, guys. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. I'm like,
some
what are we
extra
gonna
weekend
do?
spending money.
Yeah,
Right?
right? So funny.
Yeah. No, but like I said, I think, you know, obviously there's probably, you know, and there's probably even people that listen to the show. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why they listen to the show, which is, you know, I'm glad that people listen, like for those, if they think that, you know, this and hearing me talk and hearing you talk and hearing your stories can help them, like that's awesome. Yeah. You know, and I think sometimes all it really is hearing from like somebody like you who's done it. Yeah. You know, or is doing it. Like you don't even have to be making it, right? Like exactly. Like I've had people on the show that here, you know, that are they're just trying. Yeah, they're
like it's not like I'm like the best gym ever and the best salesperson.
Yeah, whatever.
It's just
but like you're doing it. You're doing it and you're happy about it and you're in probably the healthiest place you've ever been. Like that's what it's all about. It's just like it's, you know, I think a lot of people think like they have to make it, right? And it's like it's not quote unquote like done until you make it. Yeah. I think that's where people get it wrong. Yeah. And like, I know it sounds cheesy, but like, it's just about the process. Absolutely. And like the journey of you trying to get there. Yeah. And that's it. Like, it's really the journey. Cause like, I feel like sometimes, I mean, even like with me, like once you achieve something, then it's like, okay, then now what?
Now
what?
That's like, always.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, like it's like contradictory. Like you want to achieve it, but then you don't, because once you get there, it's like,
you always want more. Yeah.
Exactly. So like, I'm kind of the mindset of, kind of setting the bar like almost too high. Yeah, absolutely. You know, almost on a table, which I know some people will probably be like, I disagree with that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like you'll constantly kind of have something to work towards. Yeah. You know, and like I said, like if you set the bar not too low, but like you make it very attainable, well, you're probably gonna make it. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, well, now what?
And it's like okay,
I got there.
Done.
And then it's like, then maybe you'll give up and just be like, yeah, this is over. Like you know, like now what's next? Yeah. You know, or like, you know, just kind of get too complacent. I think that just causes complacency.
And I think there's a lot of people that are just complacent, and it's like, okay, like,
and we've all been there.
Yeah, exactly.
We've all been there.
And also like how I don't have to do like my studio and my full-time job. And I remember like before I got the job, I was like, I will not give up my studio for this job. And like, I was just so nervous. Like I wasn't going to be able to do both. But like now I see that there's ways to do, if you have a passion, like you love your job, like you can do both. There are ways. I'm just not there as many hours, but I still love the gym. I'm so passionate about it, and I'm so happy I found trainers that are just as passionate about it. And so like I can have both. And like I think that's like a big thing. People are like, well, I don't have time for this. It's like you do, but you're not.
You just gotta make the time.
You're not figuring out how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, like stop sitting home and watching Netflix.
Yes. I mean, listen, everyone has time.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Like, listen, we all watch Netflix.
Yes.
Right? Like we all do once in a while, you know, but at the same time, you know, instead of spending an hour or two a night watching Netflix or something else, like work on something. Work on a little side hustle, and you know, whether it makes you a little bit of money or a lot of money, but at least like you're doing something.
Exactly.
It's just trying.
Yeah.
And I think that's like my biggest thing. Like everybody always asks me like for like advice and stuff, like just like in this and in the podcast world, it's like, oh, like what's your best piece of advice? And I'm like, just start. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. Like I had no clue what I was doing. I literally didn't know anything about a business. Yeah. Now I'm like, I just had to send in stuff for taxes for my 4 employees. I'm like, I never had to do taxes for employees before. I don't know what I'm doing, but
that's
like I'm going to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just figure it out. Yeah. Right. Just like you said.
Like you could Google anything these days.
Literally anything. You know? Anything. You can learn from people on this show. Yeah. You can go on some other YouTube channel. I don't care. Just look it up. Literally, like just Google it. But
Yeah.
like I said, like one of the biggest things I always just tell people is like literally just start.
Yeah.
Like not that you don't need a plan, because everyone's like, oh, well, I don't have a plan. Well, so
Yeah.
what? Like, okay, it's like you're not taking on a huge thing like right off the bat. Like, yeah, eventually you need to have somewhat of a plan, but just a matter of like just starting something.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are too afraid to start
Yeah.
because they're afraid that people are what they're gonna think about them. People are gonna make fun of them,
Yeah.
or that they'll fail.
Yeah.
Right. But I think you're not even giving yourself the opportunity if you
Exactly.
never actually start.
Yeah.
And like you just don't know where something's going to go
Exactly.
until you start. You know, it may take some time,
I agree.
but if you are obsessed with it in a healthy way, of course.
Yeah.
Like you'll get there.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, you just kind of figure it out along the way. You know, I mean, for you, I mean, like trying to figure this stuff out. Like, do you have like resources around you? Like how did you kind of figure these things out? Like, as a small business owner, as you're along this journey.
Like business wise,
Anything, yeah. I mean, like you said, like did you just like go online and Google stuff, or like
So when I first opened the business, I knew, well, my friend Bree Henry that I talked about before, she had started Whalen Apparel. It was an athletic apparel line. Well, it is an athletic apparel line. Code Meezurfit. But no, but she was like, she got an LLC for that. So she was like, you should get an LLC, like if you're going to open your business. And like she was.
So you just kind of relied on friends that already sort of did it, right?
And like honestly, she's one of the biggest inspirations when it comes to like that. Just start. Like she started a clothing line. Like she had no clue what she was doing, but like you figure it out.
Listen, people. Most people have no idea what they're doing. Like when they start, even sometimes now.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like it's really not that complicated.
Yeah, you figure it out
just gotta
along
do
the
the
way. Yeah. So she gave me tips on like just like that part, and then my dad referred me to his friend who's a lawyer to get all like the legal stuff. I had to get contracts made because now I was having employees, all of that kind of stuff. I honestly, like all my payment info, all of that, I use like Excel spreadsheets, but like that's so embarrassing. But like,
yeah, but listen, it works. It works.
Yeah,
like don't go spend money on stupid stuff you don't need.
Like I don't have that big of a business right now where I need like anything crazy, and I only have 4 employees.
Listen, I use the Notes app on my phone.
Yeah, like it's not. Yeah, so it's not.
Seriously.
Yeah, so it's not that crazy. I mean, so I don't do anything crazy fancy.
It doesn't need to be.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Like it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, and like just before I opened, like me and my husband sat down with my friend, and she's an accountant, and she was like, okay, like let's figure out like how much you're going to spend on your equipment, how much you're going to pay in rent, utilities, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's see if it's even worth it for you. Are you going to even break even the first year? And like, we went through all of that. Then we decided, okay, we could do it. Like, we ordered all the equipment. Like, so it was kind of just like let's just do this. Like, and my husband was like, nothing's going to go to waste. Like, if this fails, which it's not going to, like, we'll use all the equipment for a home gym. Like, who cares? Like, nothing's going to be, he's like, and gym equipment right now, you could sell anything on Facebook Marketplace or wherever. Like, nothing's going to go to waste. Like, let's just do it. So we were like, all right, let's go. So we did it. And then it's been great. I mean, and then my husband got deployed last year. So that was really like it kept me so busy, and I was just so thankful to have that. Like while he was gone, it was just what like really kept me busy. So,
yeah.
So it was good.
What was that like? Having him not home.
Very hard because I moved back with my parents when he left. So we had an apartment for however long before he went. And then we were like, it's going to be stupid. Like, we'll save so much money. I'm going to be so lonely anyways. So me and my big German Shepherd moved back with my parents at 28 years old. And now he just got back, and we're both living there, and it's craziness. And we're like, we need a house. But we're looking, but it's hard. But yeah, it was nice to have people like around though, because I think I would have been going crazy by myself. But
yeah.
So yeah, it was tough because like I was used to having my own space. But like my family's great. So it was fun. My brother's still there.
Yeah, shout out to your brother, by the way. I'm sorry it took this long. Mondo, I'm so sorry.
You're still listening.
Jeez, if you made it this far, dude, we're like an hour into this.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, I feel guilty that we haven't even...
I know we haven't even mentioned him yet.
I gotta bring up all the texts that he sent me, all the dirt that he
what did he have
that he
to
sent
say?
me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, of course. But yeah, I texted him. I said, you gotta give me all the most embarrassing stories.
Oh my God.
He actually bribes me with a few bucks to tell a couple embarrassing stories.
God.
But
Nothing.
No, I turned it down. No, I'm kidding. No, I love your brother though. He's crushing it.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Mondo Salavanti.
Yeah, I love it. I follow his content all the time online.
Yeah,
Like,
he's great on social media.
Yeah, just super super positive. And those are the type of people that like you need to, like I think about this a lot. It's like, the people and the content that you follow online on social media. Like if you follow junk people, you're gonna have a junk life.
Yeah. Well, and
know?
they say like you're someone like the people you're always around.
Yeah.
So I will say like the whole year I was home, it was really good like being around him because we're both up at like 5 a.m. We're both working out. We're reading our books in the morning. It's like really funny. Like if you saw the two of us in the morning, like it's actually
it could be its own show.
Yeah, like we were both so like regimented, but then we'd be like fighting over who got in the shower first, like that. Like, fighting over the bathroom, but like it was just funny because like we would both be like up at the crack of dawn, like our parents are still sleeping, like whatever. But yeah, it was good. Like he was definitely, like we both had that structure, and it was like a good
commonality.
Yeah, and it was a good
same.
like rubbing off on me almost, like making me like stick to a routine where I could have easily this year been like blah, like sad all the time, so it was good. But follow people on social media, like go on follow people, like if if they're if you think their content is like negative, because like I think a lot of people just tend to follow the content, even if it's like people that like might be your friends. Just
mute
like, them. They won't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Or if you want to get like crazy, then unfollow. You know what I mean? Like,
if you want to get crazy.
Yeah, you can hit that mute button,
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't look at who unfollows me. Like, do people look at that?
Who cares?
Like, I don't know.
Who cares?
Yeah.
But like I said, like the content thing, I think, obviously like whatever you consume, like it's going to weigh on you over time. You may not realize it like in the moment.
Absolutely.
And I tell people like, just go on and like just follow the people and have those people stay in your feed, because like that's like the content like that you want to consume, because if you watch junk, you'll just become junk.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm a huge believer in that.
I know. I unfollowed so many people. Like
have to.
Not even like people I know, just like influencers that like make you feel bad about yourself.
Because some of the people I feel like it's
like not on purpose,
it's like unrealistic
but,
stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know. But yeah, so shout out to your bro.
Shout out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry it took this long, dude, but all right. So how can our listeners, find your gym? Like where can people find you online too?
So the gym is located inside of Anthracite Fitness Factory in Pittston. It's across from the Red Mill.
Shout out to Pittston, by the way.
It's called Meezurfit LLC, personal training. We do personal and small group training, like 2, 3, or 4 people. So grab your friends, come on down. And then on Instagram, I'm just at Meezurfit, or the gym is at Meezurfit_LLC.
Can we still find that old YouTube channel? You still got that?
No, I am definitely.
Is it still like a thing?
It's still, if you really want to go back and see my prep, it is Mia Salavanti, I think, on YouTube.
All right.
Pretty sure. Honestly, it's probably in the link in my bio on Instagram still. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's like the link tree. It's like it might be in there, might not.
We can go back and follow the journey of it's like you documented the whole process.
This is actually a random thing, but the other night I was like about to fall asleep and Sammy starts playing this YouTube video, and it's me and my brother's fiance Mattia meal prepping. It's from like 2015, and we're meal prepping and we're showing this like food box that she got in the mail. And it's just like the funniest thing because I'm like, what did I used to put on here? So yeah, if you guys want to laugh, go watch my YouTube channel.
There we go.
Yeah. I don't know where he got it from, why he pulled it up, but there we were.
That's so funny. I feel like I saw some. Did you share? Did you say you just shared that like recently?
I didn't share it, but what did it pop up maybe? Because I'm like, because he's like, I don't know, I just saw this on YouTube. I'm like, why would that pop up? Like maybe. I don't know why.
Yeah, maybe just when I was clicking around, like just like on your page, like maybe I landed on something.
I don't know.
I don't think it was that, but I mean, I feel like I saw something that was like kind of older.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Now I'm gonna look. Now
you gotta check it out.
Now I gotta go look. So you did the whole journey of like, or at least most of like the.
I can't even remember. There was
like the prep the first time around.
The whole prep was on there. I had random meal prep videos. And then I'm trying to think what else I had. I don't even know. Just fitness stuff.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah. But some good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun. I'm glad we connected on this, and I appreciate you coming in and sharing a little bit of your story, and I think it's inspiring for people to to know like what's possible.
Yeah,
Because
thank you.
because I just feel like so many people don't, and they, you know, they just like get down on themselves and like,
Absolutely.
you know, just start something, just go do something, whatever it is. I don't care what it is that you like, just do it. Like you can literally do anything online.
Yeah.
You know, you could go on YouTube, like you said, you can start your own YouTube channel, sort of like you did, and just put content on there. Like people will pay you.
People will. They
like
will.
people are paying me right now. Like for
Exactly.
this, like literally, like people,
Yeah.
like, you know, I remember like way back in the day, you know, I even kind of laughed at myself when I first started this because it really wasn't. I had no intention of it becoming like what it became, right? And then somebody's like, "Yo, can I pay you to like have an ad on there?" And I'm like, maybe, yeah. Like at first I was like, I don't know, like I wasn't really trying to.
Because you love doing it.
Yeah, it was just like,
so it doesn't feel like.
yeah. And it's like I don't. It's not that I didn't. It's not like I needed the money or not. But like obviously I have a little bit more expenses now than I did like a few years ago. But you know, going back, it was like, well, nah. It's like it's not like I had really bills to pay with this. Like, I paid a little bit of money to have it started and stuff. But I was like, it was just like a hobby.
Yeah.
You know, it's just something to do. It was actually right at the beginning of the pandemic, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you know, but like I said, but just going back to like the internet and just starting any type of content, it's like, man, just start the content. You can always change.
Absolutely.
Because everybody's like, oh, well, I don't have the idea like ready yet. It doesn't matter.
And people think their feed has to look perfect.
Yeah,
and
stop
like,
that, by the way. Stop.
And it's like, just
post the damn thing. Just post it.
Yes.
Just post it. Just post it. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yes.
And, I mean, like, of course, I'm sure we've all at some point, you and I even probably have struggled with that. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, you get over that. Like, you get over, once you start posting, you get over that so fast.
Yeah. Like my page was, I remember it was like a secret page. Only like some of my friends knew about it at first. And then I finally was just like, all right, we're just making it public. Like, you know?
And just post the damn thing. Start the thing, whatever it is. I don't care, but just stop complaining and start doing that.
Yes.
That's my piece of advice for
there you
today's
go.
show.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, Mia Falcone on the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door Studio. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.